Hello listeners. This is James Calloway, and you are tuned to 94.6 FM, Outbreak FM London, broadcasting from our studio in Soho on what is shaping up to be a very grey Tuesday morning in November. The time is 6:52. The temperature outside is 4 degrees Celsius and falling. The sky is doing that thing it does in London in November where it cannot decide between drizzle and actual rain, so it settles on both. And I have a coffee in front of me that is already going cold because the heating in this building takes about 40 minutes to actually heat anything. My producer Sarah arrived before 6, same as always, and she is currently at her desk looking at overnight wire reports with an expression I have learned over 4 years to pay close attention to. We will get to that in a moment. First, transport. The Central Line is experiencing severe delays between Liverpool Street and Stratford due to a signal failure reported just after midnight. Transport for London is advising passengers to use alternative routes via the Overground or to allow significant extra time. The Northern Line is running normally. The District and Circle lines have minor delays at Victoria due to a planned engineering inspection that is running longer than scheduled. On the roads, the A40 westbound approaching the Marylebone flyover is already backed up well past Paddington, which for a Tuesday is slightly worse than usual. The M25 clockwise between junctions 12 and 15 is slow due to an overnight lorry breakdown that has been partially cleared, but is still causing significant congestion. Give yourself an extra 30 minutes if you are coming into the city from the west this morning. Weather: 4 degrees now, rising to a high of 7 today. Wind from the northeast at about 15 miles per hour, which will make it feel closer to zero in exposed areas. There is a possibility of sleet showers this afternoon, particularly in the eastern boroughs. Tonight drops back to 2 degrees and stays there through the week. Winter has arrived, and it has not brought anything interesting with it. Sarah has just slid a printed wire report across the desk. I am reading it now. Right. So this came through the overnight wire from NHS England at 3:47 a.m. There was an incident at the Royal London Hospital in Whitechapel. The language in this report is careful, which itself is worth noting. It describes multiple patients in the emergency department exhibiting what it calls acute neurological disturbance and presenting with extreme agitation towards staff. 14 members of staff were treated for injuries during the incident. 3 were transferred to a separate unit for further assessment. The Royal London is currently operating under restricted admission protocols while an internal review is conducted. The Royal London is one of the largest and busiest hospitals in the country. It sits in Whitechapel in East London, serves one of the most densely populated parts of the city, and operates one of the country's leading major trauma centers. 14 staff injured in a single overnight incident is not a small number. That is a significant event for any hospital in the country. The NHS England statement calls it a contained clinical incident. That phrase is doing a lot of work this morning and saying very little. I am keeping this report next to my coffee. We have put calls into the Royal London Communications Office and to the NHS England press line. Neither is staffed at this hour, but we will follow up as soon as they open. Sarah is also monitoring the Metropolitan Police scanner feed and pulling up anything from local East London news sources. She says she is finding less coverage than she would expect for an incident of this size. Normally something involving 14 injured hospital workers would be on the local news sites within a couple of hours. She has found one brief item on an East London community news page describing police activity near the hospital overnight. And nothing else. That absence is something I am noting, without yet drawing conclusions from. It is 7:04. Let us go to the rest of the morning news and we will come back to this as we know more. The Home Office announced yesterday evening that new immigration processing regulations will come into effect in January, affecting applications made through the digital portal. Full details are available on the government website. The Mayor of London confirmed that the expanded ULEZ boundary consultation period closes on Friday, and residents in the affected boroughs are encouraged to submit responses before the deadline. In sport, the England squad announced their training lineup ahead of Thursday's friendly at Wembley. With 3 changes from the squad that faced Portugal last month. 7:22. Sarah has been on the phone with a contact she has at the Metropolitan Police Press Office. Not the official line, someone she knows personally from when she worked in news at the BBC before she came to us. He did not say much. What he did say was that there are road closures on Whitechapel Road and on Commercial Road this morning in the area surrounding the Royal London. He said they are being described publicly as precautionary traffic management measures related to the hospital's restricted operations. He said he could not tell her more than that and that he needed to go. Road closures on 2 major arterials in East London at 7 in the morning following a serious hospital incident overnight. I want to be precise about what I am and am not saying. What I can confirm this morning is that a serious incident occurred overnight at the Royal London Hospital involving 14 injured staff members. There are road closures in the surrounding area. The NHS has called it contained. The Metropolitan Police are present in elevated numbers near the site. These facts may have a completely mundane explanation, but Sarah's contact sounded like someone who wanted to say more than he was saying. And I have been doing this long enough to know what that sounds like. We have also received a message from a listener, a nurse who says she works in a different department at the Royal London. She sent it through our website contact form at 7:17. She said she has been awake since her shift ended at 6 a.m. and that she is trying to decide whether to go back in today. She said there were sounds coming from the emergency department during the night that she had never heard in 11 years of working in hospitals. She said she did not know how to describe them other than to say they did not sound like people in pain. They sounded like something else entirely. She did not say what that something else was. I am not going to speculate. I am going to keep watching, keep calling, and keep you informed. 7:38. Sarah's phone is active. She is pulling up something on her screen. She is bringing it over. This is a Metropolitan Police statement issued 3 minutes ago on their official press channels. I am going to read it to you in full. The Metropolitan Police Service is currently responding to a public safety incident in the London Borough of Tower Hamlets. Residents in the Whitechapel and Stepney Green areas are advised to remain indoors and to follow further guidance from the Metropolitan Police and London Emergency Services. A further update will be issued at 9 a.m. The public is asked not to travel to the affected area. Remain indoors. That is not language the Metropolitan Police use for a hospital administrative issue. Remain indoors is the language of an active and ongoing threat in a public area. It is the language they used during the 2017 Borough Market attack. It is the language of something that is happening right now in the street. Whitechapel and Stepney Green. That is a residential area. That is tube stations, markets, schools. Thousands of people who are up at this hour getting ready for the day. I need to be direct with you. Something is happening in East London this morning that began at that hospital last night. I do not have enough information yet to tell you what it is. What I have is a serious overnight incident, road closures, a Metropolitan Police stay indoors advisory, and a nurse who could not find words for what she heard. If you are in Whitechapel, Stepney Green, or the surrounding area of Tower Hamlets right now, please follow the Metropolitan Police guidance. Stay indoors. Do not travel toward the Royal London. Do not try to see what is happening in the street. If you are anywhere else in London, stay on this frequency. I am not going anywhere. 7:54. Sarah just received a text from her partner. He works in Canary Wharf, about 1.5 miles from Whitechapel. He said the office has been told to lock its doors and not allow anyone in or out until further notice. A financial services company in Canary Wharf does not lock its doors at 7:54 on a Tuesday morning unless someone with authority has told it to. Sarah has tried calling him back. He is not answering. She says he is probably in a meeting or following whatever instructions they have been given. She says she is fine. She does not look fine. I know what fine looks like on Sarah, and this is not it. The 9 a.m. update from the Metropolitan Police cannot come fast enough. You are on 94.6 FM. Outbreak FM London. I am James Calloway. Stay with me. If this broadcast is reaching you this morning, subscribe so you are here for every update. More cities. More outbreaks. More broadcasts. You do not want to come in halfway through. The Metropolitan Police issued a second statement 7 minutes ago, and I want to read it to you immediately. The Metropolitan Police Service, working in coordination with NHS England, Public Health England, and the London Ambulance Service, is responding to a significant public health and safety incident currently affecting parts of East London. The incident originated at the Royal London Hospital in Whitechapel and has extended to surrounding streets in the London borough of Tower Hamlets. Residents in Tower Hamlets, Hackney and Newham are advised to shelter in place immediately. All residents are asked to lock doors and windows, move away from ground floor windows, and await further official guidance. Do not approach individuals who appear disoriented or distressed. Contact 999 immediately if you observe individuals behaving with extreme aggression. A joint emergency briefing will be held at 10 a.m. Tower Hamlets, Hackney, and Newham, that is 3 London boroughs. Combined population of approximately 1 million people. The shelter-in-place advisory has expanded from 2 streets around a hospital to 3 entire boroughs in the space of 45 minutes. That is not a contained clinical incident. That is something that has moved beyond its origin point and is still moving. The words I want you to hear from that statement are these: do not approach individuals who appear disoriented or distressed. That sentence did not appear in any statement this morning until right now. Public Health England does not put that sentence in a statement unless they have specific and serious reason to believe that approaching a distressed individual poses a direct risk to the person approaching. I have been trying to reach people inside the Royal London since early this morning. I finally received a response through our website contact form about 8 minutes ago. It is from someone who describes themselves as a senior member of the hospital's emergency department staff, writing anonymously. I cannot verify who this person is. Given the events of this morning, I am going to share what they wrote because I believe you need to hear it. They wrote, "What happened last night was unlike anything in 22 years of emergency medicine. Patients who were brought in through the night were not responding to sedation or to any standard intervention. The aggression was not distress-driven. There was no communication possible. Several patients who were clinically assessed and pronounced dead subsequently showed movement and targeted behavior towards staff." I am not going to use specific language here because I know how it will sound. What I am telling you is that what we saw last night does not have a clinical framework I can place it in. I have not returned to the department since my shift ended. I do not intend to. Subsequently showed movement and targeted behavior towards staff. I know what that sentence means. I expect you know what it means too. I am not going to reach for dramatic language on this broadcast because dramatic language serves no one. What I am going to do is be precise. And being precise means saying this. A senior emergency physician is describing patients who were confirmed dead, subsequently moving and attacking staff. That is what is in this message. 8:31. New information is coming in from multiple directions. Sarah has the scanner, the wire feeds, and 3 news agency alerts open simultaneously. Let me walk you through what we know, The London Ambulance Service has activated its major incident protocol as of 8:23 a.m. This protocol is reserved for events beyond the normal capacity of emergency services to manage. It triggers additional resource deployment, coordination with NHS trusts across the city, and direct communication with NHS England and the Department of Health. It has been activated twice in the last 10 years, once for the 2017 terror attacks, and once during the early days of the pandemic. It is active now for what began as a hospital incident in Whitechapel. The Central Line remains suspended between Liverpool Street and Stratford. Transport for London has now also suspended District Line services between Whitechapel and Barking and overground services between Shadwell and Barking. These are the transport links that run through the affected borough, and the closures are described as precautionary. Transport for London does not close multiple lines simultaneously for a precautionary reason unless they have been told by emergency services to do so. Social media posts from people in Whitechapel and Mile End are coming through in significant volume. Sarah is monitoring them. She is not reading all of them to me because many are unverified and some are clearly inaccurate or exaggerated. But a pattern is emerging across accounts that have no connection to each other, from people writing from different streets and different buildings, describing the same thing in their own words. People on the street not moving normally. People not responding to voices or to their names. People moving toward others in ways that are being described as wrong. One post from someone who says they are watching from a third-floor window describes a figure in the street below that, in their words, walked into the side of a parked car and did not stop or react to the impact. Just kept going. Public Health England has just issued a statement. It is brief and I want to read it completely. Public Health England is currently investigating a novel pathogen associated with rapidly progressing neurological symptoms in affected individuals. The pathogen appears to be transmitted through direct contact with bodily fluids. Members of the public are strongly advised to avoid any contact with individuals showing signs of extreme behavioral disturbance. Do not approach. Do not attempt to assist. Contact emergency services by telephone only. A more detailed public health advisory will follow the 10 a.m. briefing. A novel pathogen. Rapidly progressing neurological symptoms. Transmitted through contact with bodily fluids. That is Public Health England, which is a government agency staffed by some of the most cautious and precise scientific communicators in the country. Using the words novel pathogen in a public statement. They do not use language like that when they do not have to. I want to pause on one part of that statement. Transmitted through contact with bodily fluids. In the context of everything being described this morning, the specific mechanism that matters most is biting. The reports from the hospital, the accounts from the street, the message from the emergency physician, biting, that is the transmission vector they are. Describing without saying the word .8:47. I need to update you on what is happening right now in real time. The Metropolitan Police has confirmed road closures now covering the full perimeter of Tower Hamlets. Every major road in and out of the borough is either closed or has a police presence restricting movement. The Rotherhithe Tunnel, the Limehouse Link, Aldgate, Bethnal Green Road, all of them. Tower Hamlets is effectively surrounded. Sarah's partner has responded. He is in the Canary Wharf building with colleagues. They are locked in. He is okay. He said they can see police vehicles on the roads below and that nobody is moving on the streets. He said it looks like the city, but with the people removed. Sarah exhaled when she read that message, and then she went straight back to her screens. That is exactly what she would do, and I am glad she is here. I am also watching what is happening on this side of the city. Our studio is in Soho, which is central London, roughly 4 miles from Whitechapel. As of this moment, there are no reports of incidents in central or west London. The shelter-in-place advisory covers Tower Hamlets, Hackney, and Newham. If you are in those boroughs, the instruction is clear, and it comes from multiple government agencies. Stay inside, lock your doors. Do not go near anyone who appears to be behaving abnormally. If you are in any other part of London, I am not telling you to panic. I am telling you to stay informed, to be aware, and to make sure that people you care about know where you are and where they should be. The 10 a.m. briefing is in just over an hour. I will be here. Every minute of it. You are on 94.6 FM, Outbreak FM London. I am James Calloway. Do not go anywhere. 9:03. Something happened in the last 12 minutes that I need to tell you about. Sarah received a call on her personal mobile from her sister. Her sister lives in Bethnal Green, which is in Hackney, one of the boroughs under the shelter-in-place advisory. She said she has been awake since about 3 a.m. because of noise outside her building. She said at first she thought it was people coming home late. Then she thought it was a fight. Then she locked her front door and moved away from her windows because whatever she was hearing did not sound like people having a fight. She said she has been sitting in her hallway since roughly 4 a.m. She said she called the police twice and the line connected, but no one spoke to her. She stayed on hold for 11 minutes on the second call and then hung up. She is in her flat. Her doors are locked. She has not heard anything outside for about 20 minutes. She says the silence is worse than the noise was. Sarah told her to stay where she was, to keep the door locked, and to keep her phone charged. Sarah gave her exactly the right advice, and she gave it in a completely steady voice, and I am aware that it cost her something to sound that steady. I said earlier that I have been paying attention to that expression on Sarah's face since she arrived this morning. I am still paying attention to it. She looks like someone who is doing their job and also terrified. I recognize that because I think I look the same way right now. 9:41. New locations. This is the update I have been watching The Wire for, and it is not the update I wanted to see. Confirmed incident reports have now come in from Hackney Town Centre, from Stratford in the London Borough of Newham, and from a specific location I want to flag because of its size and its implications. The Westfield Stratford City Shopping Centre. Westfield Stratford is one of the largest urban shopping centres in Europe. On a Tuesday morning, it would have staff arriving from 7 a.m. Delivery operations active from early in the morning, and a significant number of early shoppers by the time it opens at 10. The incident there is described in a Metropolitan Police advisory as an active situation requiring emergency response. The center is in lockdown. Westfield Stratford is next to the Olympic Park and sits directly above Stratford Station, which is one of the busiest rail interchanges in London. This is not a quiet corner of the city. This is a transit hub and major commercial center, with tens of thousands of people passing through on a normal day. The Metropolitan Police has confirmed they have officers on site. The London Ambulance Service has units staged nearby, but has not been cleared to enter. That last detail is worth hearing clearly. Ambulances are staged but have not been cleared to enter. That means the situation inside is not yet safe for paramedics to respond to. That is extraordinary. Paramedics run toward danger as a matter of course. When they are told to stage and wait, it means the kind of danger they are dealing with is outside their training and their equipment. I am going to say something now that I have been working up to for the last 2 hours. What is being described this morning across multiple locations in East London is consistent in its details, reported by people with no connection to each other, and corroborated by the language coming out of official government and health agency communications. The pattern is specific. An origin point in a hospital, spread through physical contact, extreme aggression in affected individuals, loss of normal human response, and the thing the anonymous physician described: death not ending the threat. I am not going to use a word that belongs to fiction. But I am going to tell you that what is happening in East London this morning sits in the space where fiction and reality have never been closer together. And you need to take it seriously in the way you would take any life-threatening emergency seriously. The 10 a.m. briefing is in 19 minutes. Stay inside. Stay on this frequency. This is not the kind of broadcast you find twice. Subscribe now. Tell someone. We are going to be on air as long as we possibly can. The briefing lasted 14 minutes. The Prime Minister was present. So was the Chief Medical Officer, the Metropolitan Police Commissioner, and the Secretary of State for Health. I have never seen that combination at a single briefing for a domestic incident. That combination tells you everything you need to know about how the government has assessed the scale of what this morning has become. Here's what they said. A novel pathogen, now officially designated as NV1105 by Public Health England, is responsible for a rapidly escalating public health emergency in London. The pathogen was first identified in samples taken from patients admitted to the Royal London Hospital in the early hours of this morning. It is transmitted through direct contact with saliva, specifically through biting. Onset of symptoms in exposed individuals is rapid. The Chief Medical Officer said rapid and then did not give a specific time frame, which itself is information. If the time frame were reassuring, they would have given it. Government has declared a civil emergency under the Civil Contingencies Act. That is the highest domestic emergency designation available in British law. It grants the government broad powers to direct emergency services, close roads and transport links, requisition buildings, and impose movement restrictions. It has never been invoked for a public health event in peacetime. All London Underground services are suspended with immediate effect. All mainline rail services into and out of London are suspended. London City Airport is closed. Heathrow is under evaluation. A cordon is being established around the 6 affected London boroughs: Tower Hamlets, Hackney, Newham, Waltham Forest, Redbridge, and Barking and Dagenham, 6 boroughs. Over 2 million people. The Prime Minister said the government's immediate priority is preventing spread beyond the established cordon while supporting those within the affected area. She said British Army units are being deployed to assist Metropolitan Police in maintaining the cordon. She said the Cabinet Office briefing room has been convened and that the government is coordinating with international health partners. When a reporter asked directly about reports of deceased individuals continuing to pose a threat, the Chief Medical Officer said NV1105 presence neurological effects not previously documented in any known pathogen, and that specific guidance on managing affected individuals would be issued to emergency services personnel. Answer did not say no. The next briefing is at 2 p.m. 10:22. I am going to take a moment and talk about what the declaration of a civil emergency means practically for people in London right now. If you are within the 6 affected boroughs, the instructions are unambiguous and they come from the highest level of British government. Stay indoors. Do not open your door to strangers. Do not go to help anyone you can see from your window who appears to be in distress. I know how that sounds. I know how it conflicts with everything that feels right as a human being. But the government is telling you this, and I am telling you this because approaching someone who is symptomatic is how you become symptomatic. If you are in the rest of London, you should also be indoors. The cordon covers 6 boroughs, but the situation is moving, and the 6 boroughs were not the original 3 boroughs, and they were not the original 2 streets around a hospital. Things have expanded throughout this morning with a speed that I want you to understand. 3 hours ago, the shelter-in-place advisory covered 2 streets. Now it covers 6 boroughs and 2 million people. The trajectory of that expansion is the most important piece of information I can give you. Be inside. Be behind locked doors. Be away from ground floor windows. Be in contact with the people you love through your phone while the networks are still holding. Sarah has just pulled up something significant. There is a post on a verified NHS staff account describing the situation at the Royal London at its worst point early this morning, before the hospital went into full lockdown. I am not going to read it in full, but the essence of it is this. The staff in the emergency department lost control of the situation within 2 hours of the first affected patients arriving. They did not lose control because they failed at their jobs. They lost control because nothing in medical training or hospital protocol accounts for what they encountered. The writer says the hospital's containment procedures were designed for pathogens that behave like pathogens. NV1105 does not behave like a pathogen. It behaves like something that knows what it is doing. No, that is not scientific language. I am not a scientist. I am a person sitting at a microphone in Soho watching the city I have lived in for 34 years come apart borough by borough on a Tuesday morning. And I am trying to give you language that is accurate to the experience. 11:07. Reports are coming in from areas outside the original cordon. This is the update I have been most concerned about all morning. There are social media reports now being referenced by BBC News on their live feed of a possible incident at King's College Hospital in Camberwell. Camberwell is south of the river. It is in the London borough of Southwark. It is not within the 6-borough cordon. It is approximately 4 miles from Whitechapel. If there is a confirmed incident at King's College Hospital, it means the cordon is not containing this, and it means the south side of the river is exposed. The Metropolitan Police have not yet confirmed the King's College reports. NHS England has not issued a statement. I am watching this very closely, and I will update you the moment I have confirmed information. I also want to tell you about something that has been coming in through the listener contact form for the last hour. Dozens of messages from people who are sheltering in homes and flats across East London. I want to read you 3 of them because I think it matters to hear the human scale of what is happening in those boroughs right now. A man from Mile End who says he is sheltering with his wife and 2 children. He says his children are 7 and 9. He has told them it is a practice drill and that they are doing an excellent job of staying quiet. He says he does not know how long that story will hold. He asks if anyone is coming for them. A woman from Stratford who works as a secondary school teacher. She says she was on her way to school when the police turned her back at 7:30. She went to a nearby coffee shop and has been there since. There are 11 people in the coffee shop. They pushed the tables against the door about an hour ago when they saw something in the street outside. She asks for any information about whether her school is safe, whether her students who had already arrived are accounted for. A man who gives no location but says he is a paramedic who was on shift this morning when the major incident declaration came through. He says he was staged outside Westfield Stratford and that he was told to hold position. He says he could hear things from inside the building that he has no clinical language for. He says he is writing this sitting in his ambulance and he is not going to pretend he is not afraid. He is not going to pretend he is not afraid. I am not going to pretend. Either. 11:34. Confirmation has come through on King's College Hospital. Metropolitan Police confirmed at 11:29 a.m. that there is an active incident at King's College Hospital in Camberwell. The hospital has initiated its own lockdown protocols. The London Borough of Southwark has been added to the shelter in place advisory. The river has not stopped this. I need you to hear that clearly. The Thames, which divides this city geographically and psychologically more than any other feature, has not contained it. Southwark is south of the river and it is affected. That means the spread is not following the containment geography the government established this morning. There is now a significant possibility that this reaches central London. I am sitting in a studio in Soho Sarah is sitting 6 feet away from me. This building is 4.5 miles from Whitechapel and 2.5 miles from King's College Hospital. I want to be transparent with you about my own situation because I think you deserve that transparency. We are not inside the cordon. We are not yet under a shelter-in-place advisory for this area. But we are a small building with a ground floor entrance and glass windows, and I am aware of both of those facts in a way. I was not aware of them this morning. I am not leaving this microphone. But I am aware that the Metropolitan Police Press Office issued an advisory 30 seconds ago. I am reading it as it comes through. They are asking all London residents, regardless of borough, to shelter in place immediately as a precautionary measure while the situation is assessed. They are not limiting this to the affected boroughs. They are asking all of London. All of London. This is a city of 9 million people, and the Metropolitan Police have just asked every single one of them to go inside and stay there. Sarah is texting her sister. Her sister is still in her flat in Bethnal Green. She is still okay. Sarah's partner in Canary Wharf is still locked in with his colleagues. He is still okay. I texted my parents in Hammersmith 20 minutes ago. My mother says the street outside is quiet and the neighbors are all indoors. She says the news on the television is not as clear as this broadcast and she would like me to come home. I told her I would when I could. It is 11:41. You are on 94.6 FM. Outbreak FM London. Stay inside. Every door locked. Every window closed. I will be here. You are on 94.6 FM, Outbreak FM London. I am James Calloway. The afternoon is long, but I am here. You are in the right place. Subscribe so you are here for the next broadcast, the next city, the next night. We are not stopping. It is late afternoon, and I want to be very clear with you about where things stand. The government held an unscheduled statement at 4:15 p.m. It was not a full briefing. The Home Secretary read a prepared statement from Downing Street. It was 43 seconds long. I am going to read it to you in its entirety. The government is taking all necessary measures to contain the current public health emergency affecting London. British Army units, in coordination with Metropolitan Police, are actively managing the established containment zone. The public is asked to remain indoors, to avoid all contact with affected individuals, and to trust that every resource available to the British state is being deployed in response to the situation. We will provide a full briefing at 6 p.m., 43 seconds. No questions taken. No chief medical officer. No mention of NV1105 by name. No update on the spread. No mention of the City of London incidents. No mention of Islington or Lambeth. A 43-second statement from the Home Secretary in place of a full government briefing means one of two things. It means either the situation is stable enough that they do not have significant new information to offer, or it means the situation has developed so rapidly that the people who would normally stand behind that podium are doing something more urgent than standing behind a podium. I believe it is the second one. I want to be honest with you about that belief and about the fact that it is a belief. Not confirmed information. Here is the confirmed information I have as of 4:30 p.m. The City of London incidents that one reported earlier have expanded. Metropolitan Police confirmed at 3:58 p.m. that affected individuals have been encountered in the areas surrounding Liverpool Street, Moorgate, Aldgate, and Bank Station. All of these locations are within or directly adjacent to the City of London. All of them are within 2 miles of this studio. The London Borough of Southwark is now reporting a significant number of incidents across the borough, not confined to the area around King's College Hospital as was first reported. Southwark covers an enormous area of South London, including London Bridge, Borough, Bermondsey, Peckham, and Elephant and Castle. These are not quiet residential areas. These are dense urban environments with thousands of people in close proximity. Westminster, I have been watching for Westminster all day, and the first reports are now coming in. Unconfirmed as yet, not on the Metropolitan Police official feed, but consistent across multiple independent sources. Reports of affected individuals near St. James's Park and in the area around Victoria Station. Victoria is one of the busiest rail and coach termini in the country. Even with rail services suspended, there are staff in that building and people who sought shelter there earlier today. If Westminster is affected, the Parliament buildings are in Westminster. The Prime Minister's official residence is in Westminster. The government is conducting its emergency response from buildings in Westminster. I am telling you this because you need to understand that the geography of this outbreak has fundamentally changed since this morning. What began in Whitechapel is no longer confined to East London. It is not confined to the Thames North Bank. It is not confined to any boundary the government established today. It is in the financial district. It is south of the river. It may be in the seat of government itself, 1702. I want to talk about the people in this building for a moment. There are 5 of us here. Myself, Sarah, our sound engineer Marcus, who arrived at 5:30 this morning for the early shift and has not left, and 2 colleagues from the news desk who came in before the shelter-in-place advisory and have been working from here since. 5 people in a building in Soho that was not designed to be a shelter, but has become one. Marcus went to the ground floor about an hour ago to check the building's entry door. He came back up and told us he has secured it as well as it can be secured, which means a heavy bolt lock and a fire door prop wedged under the handle. He did not say anything dramatic about why. He did not need to. We have food in the office from the kitchen on our floor. We have water. We have the equipment to keep this broadcast running. The transmitter is on the roof of this building, and it is running on its own power supply, independent of the main building circuit. I asked Marcus about that specifically, and he said it would keep going as long as the fuel cells last, which he estimates at another 48 hours. 40-8 hours. I am going to use every one of them. 17:31. The 6 p.m. briefing has been brought forward to 5:30. Sarah is watching the live government feed on her laptop. Here is what was said. The Prime Minister confirmed that the British Army is now operational across a significantly expanded zone covering all of inner London. The original 6-borough cordon has been replaced with a citywide emergency perimeter along the M25 motorway. The M25, that is the orbital motorway that circles Greater London at a radius of between 15 and 30 miles from the city center. The government has effectively drawn a line around the entire city, a city of 9 million people. Army checkpoints are established at every major road junction where the M25 intersects with arteries leading into London. The rail network remains fully suspended. Airports remain closed. The government is asking people within London to remain in place. It is asking people outside London, in the surrounding counties, to not attempt to enter the city. It is asking people who left London before the suspension of services to identify themselves to local health authorities. Chief Medical Officer confirmed that NV1105 samples have now been assessed by 3 international laboratories. All 3 confirmed that the genome of NV1105 does not match any previously cataloged pathogen. It is genuinely novel. The WHO has classified the London event as a public health emergency of international concern, which is the highest designation available under international health law. It means the WHO is directing resources and coordinating global research. It means other countries are watching what is happening here and preparing. There was one piece of genuinely significant positive information in the briefing. The Chief Medical Officer confirmed that a team at the Wellcome Sanger Institute in Cambridgeshire has identified a potential molecular target for antiviral development based on the genome sequence of NV1105. She said it is very early. She said she did not want to offer false hope. And then she said, but it is something. And that we will work with it. It is something. I will take something. The next briefing is at 9 p.m. 1844. Messages have been coming in continuously, and I want to share some of them with you. Because the human scale of today deserves to be spoken out loud on this frequency. A man who has been in his flat in Islington since 7 a.m. this morning with his elderly mother. His mother is 82 and has dementia. She does not fully understand what is happening and has been asking to go for her usual afternoon walk. He has been finding ways to gently redirect her all day. He says he has run out of strategies and has resorted to putting on old films she loves. He says she is sitting in the living room watching Brief Encounter and does not know that everything outside has changed. He says in some ways he is grateful for that. A group of 12 people sheltering in a pub in Borough Market. They have food and drink, which is convenient given where they are. They have barricaded the front entrance with bar furniture. The landlord, who is among them, says this is not the first crisis he has weathered behind this particular bar, and he does not intend it to be the last. He says everyone is okay, and spirits are, given the circumstances, reasonable. He says please tell people the anchor is still standing. The anchor is still standing. A teacher who was with a class of 31 Year 9 students when the shelter-in-place order came through. She got all 31 of them into the school gymnasium, which is interior with no external windows. And she has been there with them since before 9 a.m., she says. Several of her colleagues came in from adjacent areas of the school and things escalated outside, and that there are now 4 teachers and 31 students in the gymnasium. She says she has been leading them in activities all day to keep everyone occupied. She says 2 of her students are frightened enough that they need hands held, and she has been doing that in shifts. She says every single one of them is going home. Every single one of them is going home. That is a teacher's voice. Hold on to it. 19:12. Sarah has something. She has been running a very careful search through cached versions of NHS England internal network documents. Material that was visible briefly before access was restricted. She found a section of a document that I believe you need to hear. This section concerns the origin of NV1105, beyond the initial patient at the Royal London. The document indicates that as of early this morning, wildlife incident reports from Epping Forest dating back 6 weeks had been flagged by Essex Wildlife Trust to the Animal and Plant Health Agency. The reports described unusual behavior in the deer population of the forest, disorientation, unprovoked aggression, abnormal movement patterns. One warden's report noted observing a deer that appeared to have died and then resumed movement, which was filed as possible recording error. It was not a recording error. NV1105 has been in Epping Forest for at least 6 weeks. 6 weeks of visitors to the forest. 6 weeks of dog walkers and cyclists and families on weekends. 6 weeks of people coming into contact with the wildlife of that forest, and then returning to their homes, their offices, their public transport. We may never know with certainty who encountered something in that forest and brought it here. We may never know how many intermediate steps there were between the forest and the Royal London. What matters now is this. If a pathogen has been circulating in a wildlife reservoir for 6 weeks within 12 miles of London, and if it has made the spillover to humans at the scale we have seen today, it is also possible that it has been making smaller, unnoticed spillovers for some of those 6 weeks. Individuals who were exposed and who progressed through symptoms that looked like a sudden violent illness. Individuals who were never correctly identified as NV1105 cases because nobody knew NV1105 existed yet. This is speculation. I want to be clear that it is speculation, but it is speculation grounded in the pattern of what we know. And I think you need to hold it alongside everything. Else. 19:58. The 9 p.m. briefing is still scheduled. I will carry it live. While we wait, I want to talk about tonight. Because tonight is the thing that is most immediately in front of all of us, and it deserves direct attention. Dark is coming. In November in London, it is fully dark by 5, and it has been dark for almost 2 hours. The city outside this building is quieter than I have ever heard London at any hour. No traffic. No voices from the street. No distant sirens, which were constant throughout the day, and whose absence now is its own kind of noise. I can hear the building's heating system. I can hear Marcus breathing. I can hear Sarah's fingers on her keyboard. That is all. London at night has never sounded like this. For tonight, keep your lights on inside, but close your curtains and blinds. Stay away from windows after dark. Keep noise in your home to a minimum. Phones charged as fully as possible at all times. Fresh water accessible. Any medication you need, keep it close. If someone in your household becomes symptomatic tonight, remember the window the chief medical officer described. 2 to 6 hours from exposure to late phase. If someone begins showing signs of early phase symptoms, confusion, elevated temperature, increasing agitation, the window for creating safe distance between them and others in your household is measured in hours. Use the early part of that window. I know that is the most difficult sentence I have said today. I know what it asks of people. I am saying it because knowing it and acting on it in time may be the difference between one member of your household being infected and all of them being infected. Stay safe tonight. I will be here. London is dark and this broadcast is still live. Subscribe. Stay close. The next part of this night is coming, and you need to be here for it. The 9 p.m. briefing has concluded, and I want to give you the full picture. The Prime Minister spoke for 9 minutes. She looked different than she had looked in any briefing today. She looked like someone who had spent the afternoon receiving information that has no comfortable container. She was steady. She was clear. And she said things that I am going to pass on to you without softening them. As of 9 p.m., NV1105 is confirmed present across every London borough. Every single one. There is no unaffected borough within the M25 perimeter. The M25 cordon remains the primary containment boundary, and Army units report that it is holding. There have been no confirmed incidents outside the M25 as of this briefing. The number of confirmed cases within London is not being given. She said the epidemiological tracking systems are not producing reliable data at the pace the situation is moving, and that giving an inaccurate number would cause more harm than giving no number. I understand that decision. I also want you to understand what it means when a government says it cannot count the cases because they are moving too fast to count. The Wellcome Sanger Institute research team working on an antiviral pathway has been joined by teams from Oxford and Cambridge. The WHO has coordinated the addition of laboratories in Berlin, Paris, and the United States Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta. The Prime Minister said the global scientific response to NV1105 is, in her words, unlike anything she has witnessed. She said every major research institution with relevant capability has made itself available within hours. She said that is what the scientific community does when the stakes are absolute. She said there is no treatment tonight. She said she expected to have more to tell the country about the research timeline by tomorrow morning. She said she was asking the country to get through tonight. Just tonight. And that in the morning there would be more. She closed by saying, I want to speak to the people sheltering across London right now. I know that tonight is the hardest night. I know that what you are asking of yourselves is extraordinary. I want you to know that we are with you. Every decision being made in government tonight is being made with you in mind. Every soldier on every bridge and every road junction is there for you. Every scientist working through the night is working for you. Get through tonight. We will be here in the morning. That is what a prime minister sounds like, when she is genuinely frightened and genuinely committed at the same time. I wanted you to hear it from her before I told you anything else. 21:58. It is almost 10 p.m. We have been broadcasting for 15 hours. Sarah's sister in Bethnal Green is okay. She has been in contact throughout the day. She is with her building neighbors. She has food and water. She sounds tired and scared and entirely intact. Sarah's partner in Canary Wharf spent the day locked in his building with colleagues and is now in a floor above the ground with a group of about 20 people. He has been texting Sarah every hour on the hour without fail. He has not missed one. That is the kind of person he is, and I want Sarah to know I think very highly of him. My parents in Hammersmith are okay. My mother texted at 9:30 saying they were going to try to sleep and asking me to come home as soon as this was over. I told her I would. I meant it. Marcus on the sound desk has not complained once today. He has kept this transmitter running and this broadcast live through 15 hours without a break longer than 10 minutes. And he did it without being asked to stay and without being offered anything in return except the knowledge that it mattered. Marcus, if you are reading this back at any point, it mattered enormously. There are 5 people in this building who chose today to do their jobs instead of running. I want to acknowledge that plainly. There will have been moments today when each of us thought about leaving. Nobody left. That is not heroism, exactly. It is just the decision that people make when they understand what their presence costs and what their absence would cost. And they choose accordingly. 22:31. I have been reading listener messages for the last 30 minutes and I want to share several of them before we go further into the night. The teacher in the gymnasium with 31 students. She messaged at 10:17 to say that Army units made contact with the school just after 9 p.m. She was told to keep everyone in place overnight and that extraction would be coordinated in the morning. She says all 31 students are present and accounted for, and that she is going to keep every one of those hands held for as long as the night requires. The group at the Anchor Pub in Borough Market. The landlord messaged to say they are settled for the night. He says the cellar is accessible, dry, and now occupied by 2 of the group who have decided it is the most defensible position in the building. He says they have enough supplies to last several days, and that they intend to use exactly none of them after the morning briefing shows the situation improving. He says he has opened 1 bottle of wine between 12 people, which works out to approximately 1 glass each, which he considers appropriate to the circumstances. Appropriate to the circumstances. I want to find that man after this is over and shake his hand, the man caring for his 82-year-old mother in Islington. She watched 3 films today. She ate her supper. She is asleep now in her usual chair. He says she has had, from her perspective, a perfectly ordinary Tuesday. He says he is sitting on the floor next to her chair listening to this broadcast with the volume low. He says he is not going to sleep tonight. He says he is glad someone is talking. I am glad someone is listening. That is what keeps me in this chair. 23:14. Piece of information came through the wire at 23:07 that I want to give you carefully because it is genuinely hopeful and I do not want to overstate it, but I also do not want to diminish it. The Wellcome Sanger Institute team, working with their Oxford colleagues, has completed an initial functional analysis of the NV1105 genome and identified what they are describing as a specific enzymatic vulnerability in the pathogen's replication mechanism. In plain language, they have found a structural weakness in how this thing copies itself. That weakness is the foundation on which antiviral treatments are built. Finding it in less than 18 hours from when samples were first received is, according to the WHO's overnight statement, An unprecedented pace of pathogen characterization. They do not have a treatment yet. I want to be clear about that. Identifying the vulnerability and developing a compound that exploits it are very different stages of the same long process. But they know where to attack it. They know what they are aiming at. And laboratories in 6 countries are now aiming at the same target simultaneously. It is something. It is genuinely something. 2341. The night outside is the quietest London has ever been in my lifetime. I grew up in this city. I have been here for every kind of London night. New Year's nights when you can feel the noise from 3 streets away. Summer nights when the heat keeps everyone out until 2 in the morning. Rainy November nights when even the streets feel sorry for themselves. I know the sound of this city at every hour. I have never heard it like this. There are no cars. There are no voices. There is no distant mechanical hum that you stop noticing after long enough, because it has always been there. All of that is gone. What is left is the sound of a city that is holding its breath. I want to tell you that holding your breath is not the same as stopping. This city is 9 million people who got up this morning and did not know what day they were walking into. 9 million people who made their way through a Tuesday that became something no Tuesday has ever been before. 9 million people who are right now in flats and houses and pubs and school gymnasiums and office buildings and cars and underground, car parks and every kind of shelter that a dense human city can offer. Holding on, that is not a city that has given up. That is a city that is waiting. Waiting is its own kind of courage. Not everyone gets to be the soldier on the bridge or the scientist in the laboratory. Most people get to be the one sitting in the hallway with a charged phone and a locked door, getting through the night hour by hour, deciding at every hour to get to the next one. That is not a small thing. That is the foundation everything else is built on. .00:00. Tuesday is over. Whatever Wednesday brings, it will not be what Tuesday was. That is the thing about the worst day. Once it is done, it is done. The M25 cordon is holding. No confirmed cases outside it as of the last update. The research teams in 6 countries are working through their own night toward a target they can now see. The army is on the bridges. The teacher is in the gymnasium. The landlord's cellar is occupied. The mother in Islington is asleep in her chair, and her son is on the floor next to her listening to the radio. Sarah is going to take over this microphone now. She is better at the night hours than I am, and she knows this city as well as anyone I have worked with. She will carry the overnight and the 7 a.m. briefing, and I will be back before 8. Before I hand over, I want to say one thing that I have been holding on to since this morning, and that feels right to say now. At midnight, with the city outside as quiet as it has ever been, London has been through things before. This city has been bombed and flooded and burned and broken, and every time it has looked like the thing that would finally end it, London found a way to be more than the thing that was trying to end it. I am not saying that glibly. I am not reaching for comfort at the expense of truth. I am saying that 9 million people holding on through a single night is the same essential act as the people who held on through every hard night this city has ever produced. Different scale. Same city. Same people. Same result. Get through tonight. Be here in the morning. That is all that is asked of you. This is James Calloway on 94.6 FM. Outbreak FM London. The city is still here. So are we. Day 1 ends. Day 2 is coming. Subscribe now so you are here when it begins. More cities. More broadcasts. Outbreak FM does not stop.